Good evening, everybody. Please confirm that you can hear me.
Good evening, Pastor.
Yeah, good evening. Okay, so we're starting immediately. So for those of you on the Google Meet, I will ask that you participate. And by participate, I mean from time to time, I may ask a question and I will appreciate you responding in the chat so that we can make this interactive. For those that may be watching on YouTube, you can also communicate in the chat. I will still go over any questions or anything that was dropped in YouTube chat box. So let's proceed. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity. This idea came from you. And even as we officially kick this off for the first session, I pray that you use this to build men, you use this to equip, and you use this to ready us for what is to come. That our eyes be opened, that we hear you, that we receive visions, and that we will be stirred up in faith in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. All right, so we're going to be looking at the first part, which I felt is important that as we start this topic, Faith and Finance Weekly, we should start with the origin. So today's topic is God's original blueprint for wealth. God's original blueprint for wealth. Please, I will ask if you have any question as the session goes on, just note it. If we have enough time, I will ask questions and give you opportunity to get answers. But note your questions because so that it can help you communicate clearly when the time comes. Okay. All right. So God's original blueprint for wealth. So our key scriptures, we have two key scriptures. One is Deuteronomy 8:18. And you shall remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth. The second one is Genesis 1:28. God blessed them and said, be fruitful and increase, fill the earth, subdue it. So those are key scriptures. We may make mention of some other scriptures as we go along, but these are the key scriptures for today's session. God's original blueprint for wealth. So what we're trying to establish here is to understand that wealth was God's idea. Okay? No man came up with it. No man made a decision and said, okay, wealth is good, money is good. No, it originated from God. And if it originated from God, then he's the best person to guide us through it. So it's God's idea. That's the first thing we must understand from today. Then it's expected that we learn to see money as resources, money and resources as tools for dominion and stewardship. So money should be seen as a tool, not as something bad, not as something to be afraid of, not as something to revere or honor. No. Money should be seen as a tool for dominion. A tool for dominion. Okay? Then the third objective is that we begin shifting our mindsets from survival to kingdom purpose. So when a man is living for survival, he makes money to pay bills. He makes money to eat, to survive. But when a man lives for kingdom purposes, he's thinking of others. He now lives from the place where I am blessed to be a blessing. So it's no longer about meeting my needs. Needs met. Needs being met are common and it's expected. I'm so sure of it. You get to that point where it's no longer a tussle in your mind. You know that my needs will be met. So what we're now talking about is now thinking about others. So I've told you what the topic is, I've told you the key scriptures, and I've told you what the objectives are. Understand that wealth was God's idea. We also want to begin to see money and resources as tools for dominion and stewardship. We also want to begin shifting our mindset from survival to kingdom purpose. So if you're just joining us, good evening. For those of you here, I believe that this is going to be a wonderful time. And subsequent sessions, we're going to see that as we meet week after week, we will see that we have grown, we're increasing, we're growing in capacity. And I trust God for that. So let's dive into the truth that can transform us from the inside out. So many have operated under a financial lie. And I trust God that today we will expose that lie. The raw truth is that many believers find faith and finances as parallel lines that can't meet. How can you be talking about faith and talking about finances? They don't go together. So let's expose that lie. They are not two separate. So people feel that how can you love God and like money? How can you love God and place such importance on money? How can you love God and be always talking about money? So today we're not just going to be talking about money, we're going to be talking about manifestation. Because remember what I said, the first objective is that we start seeing money as a tool. It's just a tool. Money is not bad, money is not good, money is neutral. Money is neutral. There's nothing like if you have too much money, or that's why I don't want to have money. When I have money, it can make me become proud. It will make me become bad. Things I never thought of doing before I start doing. That's not really true. Money may be an amplifier, but it doesn't change anybody. It's just an amplifier. So if I am very good, money will help me express good. If I'm very bad, money will help me express evil. It's neutral. So I can't also tell you that money is good. Money is neutral. It takes the shape of whoever holds it. So you will notice in Genesis, where we looked at Genesis 1:28, God blessed them and God said, be fruitful and increase. New King James says, and multiply. So if God talked about blessing and increase and multiplication, remember when he said that there was no sin in the world. Sin didn't exist then. Adam hadn't committed high treason. There was no sin. So if God in the beginning spoke about blessing, multiplication and increase, dominion, that means money, property, prosperity cannot be evil, because evil didn't exist then. This was God from the very beginning, when everything was good, everything was beautiful, the garden was perfect, everything was good. He blessed them and said, be fruitful. So then that means it can't be sin, it can't be evil, it can't be bad. The first thing God did for humanity before sin, before sacrifice, was bless them with power to produce. He blessed them with power to produce, to multiply, and to rule. So if it happened before sin, you can no longer say that plenty money, prosperity, multiplication, dominion is sin. It can't be sin. So imagine a man, let's say a carpenter, let's call him Chinedu. Mr. Chinedu is a craftsman and he made some nice wooden toys. He put the legs so that the legs can move. He put the hands so that the hands can move. Imagine that master craftsman creating the most intricate, powerful tool, the best toy any child wants to hold. When he created the toy, what do you think? Would that toy have a purpose? Would he create the toy and have a specific thing the toy is to do? Just like seeing a toy car, and seeing a toy horse or seeing a toy house. They're all toys, but they have different uses, correct? They have different uses. So the man that created the best toy ever, a man that his hands and legs move, he planned that the child will use it as a man, use it to do role play and do all manner of things and play around with it, enjoy themselves, put him in a house, put him in a car, create another, buy another one that is his family, and create different things. Now imagine if somebody else takes that toy and uses it to drum. He uses the toy to drum. If the master craftsman who sees somebody using the boy, the man, the whatever he created as a man toy, using it to drum, he won't be happy, because that's not what he was made for. Number one, he didn't create the toy to be idle. He wants the toy to be played with. Number two, he didn't create the toy to be used for anything else than to be used as a man. Not to be used as a drumstick, not to be used as a whip to flog somebody. He created it specifically to be used as a man toy. So, if God in the beginning created everything that existed, then after he created everything, he now introduced man and dropped him in a finished world. There was nothing new created after man was introduced. So everything was set for him and he was put in the garden. And then the first thing God did was he blessed them. So man is created. That means there's a purpose. That means there's a reason. If you finish creating all the animals, creating everything, the water, demarcation between water and land, between day and night, the stars, everything. And the Bible consistently says, and he saw that it was good, and he saw that it was good, and he saw that it was good. So introducing man to that, there has to be a reason. It can't be an isolated event. It can't be just, let's see how it goes. For you to take time and create creation so beautifully, look outside, look around you, you know that everything was intentional. If you look at the cells in your body, everything about your system, you see that everything is intricately connected. There's no part of you that is useless. The small finger that looks like is the least valuable, you'll be shocked. Your small toe that looks like is least valuable gives you balance. So every single thing was created for a reason. Just follow me. So everything is created and God introduced man to the finished work, finished product, finished everything. And the first thing he does is blessing. Will you agree that if he introduced man and the very next thing he did was blessing, say, be fruitful, multiply, subdue the earth, govern it? Will you agree that that's man's purpose? Man was put on this earth for that very reason. One of the first things you do when you're creating a company, when you think of any vision and application, whatever, is to define the purpose of that thing. That's the first thing you do. So some people get it wrong that they want to make money. So in a bid to make money, they start thinking of applications, they start thinking of solutions, things to sell. It's just about money. Those people don't really go far with that, because the first thinking should be the value I add. What is the purpose of this thing? What is it solving? So if God created everything, finished all the work, then brought man in, and the very first thing he did is bless him, told him, be fruitful, multiply, subdue it, I can argue that that's man's purpose. That's his purpose. Man was created to rule, to be fruitful, to multiply. So when you talk about be fruitful, multiply, we're talking about dominion. And in the world we live in, the currency of exchange is money. Money is a tool, it's an amplifier. And if we as God's people refuse to steward it, guess who will pick it up? Those who will misuse it. Just like the man who takes the toy and starts using it to drum or uses it as a whip. If the child does not use the toy the right way, it will be left for the person who will pick it up and use it the wrong way. If you and I, who have been given this dominion, this mandate to be fruitful, refuse to pick it up, to take responsibility, to steward it, it will enter the wrong hands and it will be used wrongly. If all the inventions, all the innovations come by the wrong people, we will get the wrong results. That's why this is so important. And hear me, I'm not starting this series because I've achieved it. I'm not starting this series because I've gotten it all right. But I believe we can grow together. I believe that if I learn something today, I can share with you tomorrow, and you can share with somebody else next tomorrow. It's not about getting it right. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. My favorite definition of success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. A progressive realization. That's by Earl Nightingale. The progressive realization of a worthy idea. So it means that even though I've not gotten to the finish line, as far as I'm on the journey, on purpose, intentionally taking the steps that I need to take, I'm successful. So I'm successful because I've started this. This is what I was put here for. I'm successful. I'm taking the right steps. I'm making the sacrifices. I'm doing what I should do day in, day out. I've not gotten to the finish line. And oh, I'm so far from the finish line. But every day I'm getting closer. You were created for a purpose. So ditch that mindset of poverty. Wealth is not a sin. It's a responsibility in the hands of a believer. Wealth is a responsibility in the hands of the believer. We have the responsibility to steward it rightly, not to be overcome with greed and selfishness, to steward it rightly. Okay, let's unpack that Genesis 1:28. Okay. Genesis 1:28. I'm going to use New King James. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. So this is not just an ancient verse in Genesis. This is your permission slip. This is your right to prosperity. This is your right to fruitfulness. This is your evidence that this is what God intended. God blessed them. He didn't curse them. God blessed them. There's nothing bad in blessing. There's nothing negative that comes with blessing. Bless signifies good, signifies increase. It signifies abundance. There's nothing negative that comes with the word blessed. It doesn't exist. So he blessed them. He didn't curse them. He didn't tell them to be broke. He blessed them. I want it to sink in. If God, the very first thing he did was bless man, then it can't be God that is cursing man, because he's the same, he doesn't change. Now, when Adam fell, we know the story. Adam fell and he opened the door. Whoever you obey, you become slave to. And he said, whoever will eat of that tree, you will surely die. Now, that death was not physical death, obviously, because he lived over 100 years. But spiritually, there was a disconnect, which we already know. That's not what we're focusing on now. The fact you need to understand is that we've been reconciled to that blessing. And you can't talk about being blessed without talking about finances, without talking about being successful, being fruitful. Dominion means you are ruling, exercising authority. I'm jumping ahead of myself. I'm getting too excited. So there are 3 core components here, and you should write them down. 3 core components in this verse here. God said to them, number 1, be fruitful. So the first component we see is fruitfulness. So fruitfulness you can also call productivity. Okay, anything that is fruitful is producing. Be fruitful. Be fruitful. Be fruitful. Be fruitful. Go and produce. This means you were designed to produce value. Now, let me chip this in here. That's another mistake sometimes we make. We feel that people pay for services rendered, which is not completely wrong. But the mindset ought to shift from people not just paying for a service, but people paying for value delivered. Are they not the same? Not really. Because my service could be to deliver this cup, and there could be 5 of us who deliver cups like this. So it's a service. Now, the value is what the cup does. The value is how important the cup is to the people who buy it. The value is what is so good about the cup. What differentiates the 5 people who deliver this cup? That's what now separates. So we're all rendering a service, but the value we deliver can all be different. So for instance, Mr. A delivers this cup, and he delivers to the person an empty cup nicely in a box, and he delivers it. Mr. B also delivers this cup in the same box, same carton, exactly the same. He delivers it. Mr. C also delivers the cup, but this time he has it in a bag. So it's in a box and it's in a bag. Now that bag can also be used for different things. Do you agree that Mr. C has delivered more value? Same service, but different value. ABCD. Mr. D also delivers this cup. It's in a carton, it has a bag, then he put a pen inside. Do you agree that D is delivering more value? Mr. E also delivers the cup just in a carton, nothing added to it. What I'm trying to show you is that God made us, blessed us to produce value. You must now move from always thinking, make money. I want to make money. So how can I deliver the highest value? Money follows value. Money follows value. So if I am delivering, for instance, I'm a web developer and all I do is build websites, what separates me from the other guy? What is it I do that makes me more valuable than the other guy? Now, I use an example of cup, putting a pen, putting a bag, fine, it's all good. But that's just an example. That's just an example, okay? That's just an example. It could be done in different ways. It could be delivered in different ways. A value, one of the greatest values, integrity. One of the greatest values is integrity, especially in this part of the world. For those of you in Nigeria, the greatest value One of the greatest value is integrity. So it's not all about skill. Many times about character. So the first thing we said we're looking at of the three components is fruitfulness. And we explained fruitfulness to mean you were designed to produce value. So let's not see these words as, oh, spiritual fruitfulness, which is correct, but you need to bring it down to practical terms. So when I see fruitfulness, I'm thinking value, value, value. I was put here to produce value. Wherever I enter, I will produce value. You were made to create, innovate. You were made to solve problems, value. If you are not producing, you're not operating in your original design. Remember, everything was made. After everything was done, God saw that it was good. He now introduced man. And the marching orders God gave man was, he blessed them. Genesis 1:18. Then God blessed them and God said, be fruitful. So that's what man was put here to do, to be fruitful, to be productive. So if we're not operating and delivering, producing value, now we're not doing it. We're not in line with God's will. Are you sitting on an idea? Is there an idea you've had? How do I do it? How do I deliver it? No, that's what you were put here to do. Value. Launch that idea. Step out. It's not perfect. Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. What if it fails? That should not even enter your mind. You were put here to produce value, so start producing value. You were put here to be productive, so be productive. The second component, multiplication. Then God blessed them and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply. So multiplication is increase, increase, increase. God didn't say barely survive. He didn't say just try to get by. No, manage. No, he said multiply. Whatever you touch is supposed to grow. Whatever I touch is supposed to grow. Your talents, your business, your influence, your resources. If it's not multiplying, we need to check the blueprint. Let me put it this way. If what I'm doing is not multiplying, I must ask who is doing it. Whose hand is on it? Because if it is the same hand, the same mind that God blessed and said increase, I have to reject it. I have to become uncomfortable in one position for a week. I'm supposed to always increase. I'm blessed to do that. It's not that I have to struggle and strive and toil to do it. No. It's an endowment. It's an empowerment that's on me. That's on you. If you're not multiplying, check the blueprint again. Whose hand is on that thing? Whose hand is on that thing? Number 3. Then God blessed them and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea. So number 3 is dominion. Dominion is authority. Authority. Sometimes I have so many things to do. And I'm thinking, how do I combine all? I need money for this. If I touch this, it will affect this. What should I hold on to this? There's always that temptation to hold on to money because you are afraid if you let go, you've lost all the money you've had. That's a trap. You must exercise authority. I'm never in lack. If it's my last, it can't be my last. It will be replaced. Remember, the second one is increase. I'm always increasing. I have authority, dominion. This is a big one. You were given authority not just over animals, but over systems, over resources, over circumstances. So if you are allowing circumstances to rule you, you've forgotten your dominion mandate. I'll say it again. If you're allowing circumstances to rule you, you have forgotten your dominion mandate. We're not just saying, oh God, have mercy. Oh God, have no. He has given us dominion. Our job is to go and take it. Stop laying and sitting on the sidelines. Go and take it. Remember the analogy I said, if you don't take it, if the right people who are ordained to have it don't go and take it, the wrong people will take it and use it for evil. We must stand up and go and take it. Exercise authority. Talking to myself too. Exercise authority. This isn't about being bossy or I'm this. No. There's no pride in it. It's my mandate. So I want you to write this wherever you're taking notes. I'm a manager of God's resources on earth. I am a manager of God's resources on earth. I am a manager of God's resources on earth. Obi, you are a manager of God's resources on earth. So, the three components we looked at. Number one, we said fruitfulness, which is productivity. Number two, we said multiplication, which is increase. And number three, we said dominion, which is authority, management, authority. So now I have a question for you. And you can, however you want to take it, you can decide to write it to yourself and answer it. Is your current financial reality reflecting these three core truths? Is your current financial reality reflecting these three core truths? Is your current financial reality reflecting these three core truths? Is there dominion? Are you seeing multiplication? Are you seeing productivity? Is where you are in your finances, does it reflect this thing? So I want to show you something else. And I heard this a while ago, and then it's like I started hearing it repeatedly. I've heard different people say wealth is spiritual before it's financial. And I want to talk to you about that. Wealth is spiritual before financial. Now, Deuteronomy 8:18. And you shall remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant which he swore to your fathers as it is this day. And you shall remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth. So we all know that verse. Well, many of us know that verse. He gives us power to get wealth. But what does it really mean? Does God drop cash into our hands? Does money rain down? And for those of you that know me personally, you know I don't say anything is impossible. I mean, money came from the mouth of a fish. Manna was rained from heaven. Fish were swept out from the water onto the land for people to eat. So anything is possible. I'm not saying God cannot rain money down. I'm not saying God will rain money down. But the point of the matter is, what does this verse mean? He gives us power to get wealth. The power to get wealth doesn't mean we sit down, we bend our head, and money comes. What do you think? I think it's deeper than that. So let's see somebody like King David. God never gave him any direct deposit where he just started having money. Let's look at Solomon. He never just started getting money. Remember, Solomon became wise, and his wisdom, the things he did, the strategies, the wisdom now started attracting different levels of finances, where he became the wealthiest man on earth. So David, we didn't see any money just rush into his hands. God gave him capacity, the ability to lead, the ability to fight, the ability to strategize, the ability to inspire. God gave him insight, wisdom for battle and for building. God gave him favor with his people. You see, when you say David's mighty men that could go and risk their lives. He wanted to drink water. They were ready to risk their life just to give him water to drink. So it is capacity. So that's the power to get wealth. Now, if you look at it in NIV, I think it's NIV. Yes. But remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the ability to produce wealth. Now, if you look up the word ability, it says know-how, skill. So he gives you the know-how, the skill. So he gives you the strategies, the right things to do, the right things to implement. What are those things I need to do here? What are the things I need to tweak here? Where do I need to go? Who are the people I need to be around? Ideas, strategies, insights that will produce that wealth. So that's the power to get wealth, the skill. Now, if you check wealth, it is the abundance of money and valuable possession. That's wealth. So wealth is spiritual. That ability is a spiritual endowment, is a gift that God gives. Remember the Lord your God. It is he that will give you the ability. You just sit down and the idea looks common to you, but when you release it, it's wow, everybody's amazed. The ability, the skill, the know-how, the right time, the right place, saying the right thing, doing the right thing at the right time, the ability, the know-how, the skill, the power to produce wealth. And I like it says produce wealth. So when you say produce, that means there's a process, there's something I'm doing that will generate it. The ability to do what I need to do to get that wealth. So wealth is spiritual because it starts with your spirit. Yeah. It starts with understanding, one, that it comes from God. So the first step is to even understand this thing comes from God. And what I'm saying now may seem so common, but it's not common, because the truth of the matter is that if I really understood it comes from God and that God has already released it to me, I won't be anxious. There won't be anxiety anymore. I will relax knowing that I could be sleeping and I will get the idea. Relax knowing that I could just step into that place and everything just turns around. That there's an ability, the blessing is an ability, it's an endowment. There's nothing physical about it. Nothing physical about it. So the first thing is, it starts with understanding. Number one, it comes from God, not your hustle alone, not your job alone, not your family. It starts with God. And thank God it starts with God, because knowing it starts with God gives me the confidence that I can't feel that it will always work. Because if it was with a man, anything is possible. But knowing it starts with God and it comes from God, I'm confident knowing that nothing can fail. God can never fail. Impossible. So let me, this scripture just came to my mind, and I want to show you based on what we just said. So Proverbs 10:22, Amplified Classic. So based on what I said, so it comes from God. So it's not about your hustle. It's not about your job alone, your family alone, or who you know. So Proverbs 10:22, Amplified Classic. The blessing of the Lord, it makes truly rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Now, this is the part I came here for. Neither does toiling increase it. So toiling will not make you more blessed. No. The blessing of the Lord, it makes truly rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Neither does toiling increase it. So sometimes the best way to fight is to rest. In fact, when your mind becomes full and you enter a place of worry, how would this be done? How would that be done? The best thing to do at that moment is stop fighting, rest. Because when you're in that position, you start trying to make it work by yourself. You start trying. You might go and borrow, go and this. Oh, they call this person. You start toiling and laboring, and the Bible talks about the labor of fools is God. It comes from God. Relax. Before that thing happened, God already knew it will happen, and he already made a way of escape. When Abraham was told to go and sacrifice Isaac, there was already provision for the sacrifice. The ram was already caught in the thicket. It wasn't when he got there it was caught. It was already, the plan was already in motion. I don't see shame. That's real life. So the mindset must be, there must be a mindset shift that it comes from God. And if it comes from God, it cannot fail. It can't fail. Let everybody else be a liar. It can't fail. So the second thing, so I said it starts with understanding. One, it comes from God. Two, it requires stewardship. So what stewardship is that it is placed in your care, but it's not totally yours. So it's a trust, not a toy. You don't use it anyhow you want. You don't use it on your greed and your selfish desires. You are just a steward. It was given to you and you will give account. You're a steward. So if it is God that gives you the power to get the wealth, don't you think it's fair that God will tell you what to do with the wealth? Three, it must be aligned with purpose. So it comes from God. The mindset, our new way of thinking is it comes from God. It comes from God. It's God that will do it. Rest. Don't worry. It's God that will do it. Rest. Two, it requires stewardship. I am accountable. I can't do whatever I want, however I want, make decisions. No. I'm accountable. So when it comes, I submit back to say, what should I do? And when you get number two, is when the increase is consistent. Because for every time he brings more, there's still more to be brought. So when I submit and drop the more in front of him, he tells me the next step to take to get more again. There's no end. Then it must align with purpose. What am I put here for? So it's not about, is it enough? Can I afford it? Is it aligned with purpose? That's the question I now ask. So this is why the enemy will want us broke, want us struggling, trying to make ends meet. Because when we are broke, we can't fund missions. When we are broke, we can't get the gospel out because it costs money. A broke entrepreneur cannot create jobs to help communities. He can't. So, and then when the one who wants to use it on selfish things is rich, of course, the devil is happy. He uses him to populate hell. So I want us to switch. And this is what I'm working on myself on now. That is not just about me. It's not just about me, it's about what can be done through me. And if I don't stand up and do what I need to do, a lot of people are suffering because I didn't do what I need to do. I'm responsible to make sure that less people go to hell. That's my responsibility. So it's not just about eating this, enjoying that. We're not there. It's not about luxury. It's about leverage for God's purpose. It's about using what God gave us to do what God wants us to do. So we must move our mindset from let's try and survive, let's make ends meet, to taking territories. You know, this is a serious one because some of us, this is all we've known. We're still working on it, and there's nothing wrong with that. As I said, I've not gotten it all right, but I keep moving. And I will keep moving. I will always be learning. I will always be getting better because there's always more to learn. And with doing this, what we're doing now, I have to learn more. That's an advantage, another advantage. I have to keep getting better because I have to feed to be able to feed people. So that keeps me on my toes. So for a very long time, we've been asking the wrong question. We've been asking the wrong question, the question of, can I afford it? Can I afford it? You look at something and say, can I afford it? Now, I want us to change that mindset. It's no longer, can I afford it? No longer, can I afford it? You see something, oh, I would have liked to, but can I afford it? This is nice, but I can't afford it. Can I even afford this? Hey, when would I even be able to afford this? Erase it. Immediately erase that. Anytime you catch yourself ask that question, erase it. You will do it repeatedly over and over again until it disappears. The question you should ask is this aligned with my assignment? And this is deep. Does this align with my assignment is the question. Why is that important? Okay. It's not about if I can afford it. There's nothing you can't afford. It's not about you affording it. What can you even afford? The important question is, does this align with my assignment? If it aligns, then provision will come. So when I see something that needs to be done, I should no longer be thinking, can I afford it? How long would this take me to raise this? Can I afford it? No. The question is, do I need this for the assignment? Does this align with what God called me to do? Is this in line with the vision I was given? And if the answer is yes, then we step in immediately. Until I start walking towards the water, it will not part. You know, I like to read scriptures, stories in the Bible, and think and try to put myself in that position. And I've asked myself over and over again, why did God wait for Moses to get to the Red Sea? He already knew that this is where they will pass. Why didn't they get there and see that the water was already standing divided? Why did they have to get there and now see the water and see the people coming behind them? Have you thought of that? And that's the mistake we make. We look at things before us and we're calculating based on the resources and what we have physically in our hands. It never works that way. For every time you stretch yourself, you take new levels. So for every time you refuse to stretch, you remain there. So it's not can I afford it? Is the question is, does this align with the assignment? If it aligns with the assignment, let's go and take it. He got there. The Egyptians coming behind them to attack them. They're before the water. So it's either you jump into the water and drown, or you allow them to take you or kill you. So there has to be a mindset shift. Now, this is goes in all aspects. You as an entrepreneur, as a business person, you have this burning desire, this vision, and you're saying, how would this work? I've never seen anybody do it before. I've seen people do it before, but I'm scared. No apologies. Don't feel bad for feeling a little afraid, but just step in. I heard Myron Golden say this. He said, there's nothing I work on that doesn't work. There's nothing I work on that doesn't work. There's nothing I work on that doesn't work. And everybody was like, what's he saying? He went on to explain that it's either it works for me or it works on me. It's either it works for me or it works on me. If it works for me, it means that that thing I wanted to do, the way I thought it in my head to do it, it worked. It worked for me. If it didn't work the way I thought it in my head that it would work, it worked on me. That means there's something I've learned from it. I stretched myself, I pushed myself, I've learned. It didn't work in a sense of getting that exact result I wanted, but it worked on me because I've learned and I've gotten better. So everything, I'm telling you now, everything you work on will work. You must enter with that mindset. Never enter with the mindset that this thing can fail. Nothing fails. Nothing fails. Your wealth is not just for your comfort. So it's not just about you. And it's not also just about your children. Yes, your children are very important, because if we could save our children from some of the things we went through, I think it's worth it. And remember, many of the things we are going through now and struggling with is a mindset thing. Mind, the way we think. So you have the opportunity to raise your children in an environment where they're already thinking higher than you, because that's the norm they saw growing up. And you now have the responsibility to create that environment. And poverty cannot create that environment. Chasing them from school when school fees is due cannot create that environment. So you have the responsibility to make sure that they don't even know lack. It's weird to them. They don't even know a situation of not having. It's weird to them. That's our responsibility. It's not just about you. And it's not just about your children. It's about making sure that we continue to spread and the right people dominate. All right. So I would like feedback. I would like you to communicate in the chat. Okay. I will read it out. I will go through some of the things you're writing about. And this is the question I want you to answer. What is one lie you've believed about money that you now realize might not be biblical? What is one lie? So to you, it may have been a truth. What is one lie, one thing you have believed about money that you now realize might not be biblical? Please be honest. Remember, you might not have believed before now. So I want to see it. I want to go through the chat and see what people are saying. And let's interact and let me see what I can pick up from there to talk on. Okay? What's one lie? One thing that you can look at and say, I used to think this about money. I now see that it's actually not scriptural. Just type it in the chat. If you're on YouTube, you can type it there. If you are on Google Meet with us live here, you can drop it there. Okay, money changes people. Okay, somebody else says that one needs to work hard for money. Yeah, I can totally relate to that one. You need to work very, very hard and struggle and stress and go through all manner of things to make money. Okay, money changes people. Yes, I think when I was much younger, I think that was a truth I discovered early on. But when I was much younger, I actually had that mindset that, man, maybe it's not always so good to have a certain amount of money, because if you do, you may just change and become something else. But I realized that money doesn't change people, it just amplifies who you are. You're good, you will do a lot of charity work, you will help a lot of people, you will be a real blessing to many people. But if you are bad, then bad will follow. So it didn't change you, it just amplified who you are and showed off who you were. Because many times when we don't even have money, we are not bold to do some kind of thing. So it didn't change you, it just showed your real self. And the other person said that one needs to work hard for money. Yes, and I think there's a balance here. It doesn't mean we won't work hard, but when you have the mindset that the foundation is God, it starts with God. You are no longer working hard to make money. You work to create value. When you create value, money will come. So the right approach is don't focus on money, focus on value. And my dear, it's very hard though. It's very hard. Okay, that money answers to services rendered. But I just learned now that money answers to value, not just any service. Yes, so the way to earn more is not just in the service, because and for us in Nigeria, once somebody starts something, everybody starts doing that thing. So what makes us different? What makes us different? What separates us now becomes the value in the service. The value in the service. Okay, somebody said money can buy happiness. Mm, mm. Money can buy happiness. So, yes, money doesn't buy happiness at all. Money doesn't buy happiness because there are a lot of wealthy people, rich people that are not happy. Yeah, in fact, I've seen stories and stories. In fact, we're all online, so you see them. See people that enter depression, people that commit suicide, and they have money. They are even, I will even say, there are poor people that are happy. That's the truth. So I don't want to be poor. I know I can be happy, but I want to enjoy both sides. I think so do you. So money changes people, yes. Money doesn't change you, it just amplifies and shows the real you. Okay, somebody else said, I used to think that being wealthy was meant for a particular set of people, those born into wealth. That is people born with a silver spoon. Okay. You know, funny enough, statistics shows that a greater percentage of wealthy people you know now are not people who inherited wealth. I think, I don't want to misquote wrong figures, but I just know it's a very small percentage of people that are wealthy now that inherited it. Many of the people that are wealthy now, a largely greater percentage of people that are wealthy now were not wealthy. They didn't grow up with silver spoon. So that already debunks that. It doesn't matter where you came from. When you learn the principles, understand and think rightly, think value, understand that God has already empowered me for this. I'm not praying to God to make me rich or make me this. No. God has already empowered me. Once I think that way and continuously think that way and grow in that pattern of thinking, there's no way wealth won't chase us down. It's inevitable. All right, let's just continue and round up. So thank you for everybody who responded. Anybody who is watching after this live session, you can also still drop it in the comments. If you have any question, you can also drop it in the comment section. Okay, so we have been able to look at some of the wrong mindsets we had, and we have been able to see that they were wrong, and we are now beginning to change the way we think, which is very important. So I believe we've been able to make progress tonight. It's very important that we start with foundations, and that's why we started with Genesis 1:28. And we saw that there are three components. When God blessed, he said, be fruitful. Then he said, multiply. Then he said, dominate, authority. So in everything we do, we must now look out for those three things. The manifestation of those three things. Very, very important that we understand that those three things are key. So I want you to do something. Remember, we're going to meet again next week, Friday, and the Friday after that. So second Friday, third Friday, and fourth Friday of every month. And we're not just doing it like isolated sessions. All the sessions are connected. So if you came, you didn't join live, make sure you watch the previous one because they will all be interconnected. It's a training, okay? And by God's grace, it's doing something to our mind, because there's no change until there's a changing of mind. Anything we do that we say is new, that we've not gotten new information, that we've not gotten a renewal of mind in that area, we're doing the same thing. We just change the packaging, but it's the exact same thing. So it doesn't make sense. So I want you to go back. So this is what I want you to do this week. Go back to the source. Read Genesis 1, the entire chapter, and read Deuteronomy 8, the entire chapter. So 2 chapters, Genesis 1 and Deuteronomy 8. Get these scriptures into your spirit. Get them into your DNA. Let them become part of you. Then start confessing them. I'm going to give you a confession now that you can use. Start confessing them. Start confessing them. Every single day, look in the mirror and make that confession. So what did I say? 2 things. 1, go and read Genesis 1. You can read it multiple times during the week before we come again next Friday. Read Deuteronomy 8. Read the entire chapter. You can read it multiple times. Let it become part of you. Know it, understand it, meditate on it. Pick different verses that struck a chord and go back to it. Stay there until it becomes part of you. Then make this declaration. So go to the morning, every evening, however you want to do it, but daily make this confession as many times as you can daily. You can stay in front of the mirror, look at it. You can also decide, I've done that before, when I wanted the thing to sink in more, as I'm confessing, I'm writing it down. Every morning I wake up, I write the confession out again. There's more of a connection when I do it that way. Anyhow you want to do it, but make sure you are internalizing it. It's real. You are feeling it. Your emotions are connected to it. So say this out with me. If you're somewhere alone where you can say it, you can shout it at the top of your voice. Say it out loud with me, wherever you are, if you can. God has given me power to get wealth. I walk in divine ability, wisdom, and favor to prosper. Very simple. I'll take it again. God has given me power to get wealth. I walk in divine ability, wisdom, and favor to prosper. Let's do it one more time. God has given me power to get wealth. I walk in divine ability, wisdom, and favor to prosper. So say that repeatedly over and over again. And remember, when you are making confessions like this, try to block out noise. Try to think on what you are saying. Try to paint pictures about what you are saying. God has given me the power to get wealth. God has given me the power to get wealth. I walk in divine ability, wisdom, and favor to prosper. Favor to prosper. So paint those pictures, see it. When you begin to say it and you are feeling it, you will know. Your emotions will connect to you. You start getting excited. There's like an energy that will flow through you. If you are not feeling that, you've not connected with it. That's an easy way to know when you are just saying something that you're not thinking about. Anytime you connect with something like this, you feel it. There's an excitement, there's a joy that will just come in you. If you do this repeatedly, confess this thing every day, multiple times a day, it won't be long. You start believing it, because the important thing is that you believe it. You have to believe it. When you believe it, you start expecting favor. When you believe it, you walk into a room and your shoulders don't drop. You're confident. You walk in with your head held high. You know that you're the biggest person in that room. God has given me power to get wealth. I walk in divine ability, wisdom, and favor to prosper. All right. I've had a nice time. This is the first one. We'll continue to get better. Make sure you remember what you're supposed to do. Go back to your notes, look at them over and over again. Go and read Genesis 1 and Deuteronomy 8. Read those chapters, make those confessions daily. And I've also included a small book, a PDF for you that has 15 foundational verses. Okay, verses that will help you renew your mind when it comes to your mindset and finances. So you can click on the link. It's on the YouTube description. If you go to the YouTube description, you see a link there. You can just click on it, go there, and get that book. So you just have 15 scriptures there with a little, just a brief mindset shift for each verse. A brief mindset shift for each verse. Stay on these things for the next 1 week. When we come back, definitely by next week Friday, you would have already moved. It will already be evident. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful night. God bless you.
Amen. Thank you,
Thank
Pastor.
you, sir.
And
Amen.
thank you, sir. Thank you, Pastor.
Amen. Thank you, sir.